Hello, welcome to Paradox Painting. This is my introduction video, first video on my new channel, and I am so excited to do this. So, my name is Danny, and I'm a traditional painter. What do I mean is I use acrylics and I do landscapes, and one painting can take me a week. Sometimes maybe 2-3 days, but most of the time it's a week. So it's time for me to let go. I want to try something completely different. I'm so excited. I've been Googling it. I've been YouTubing it. I've been watching how they do this liquid pouring art, this painting, and I am ready. I want to get my hands in it though. It's time to just go with the flow, right? I hope you enjoyed this. Please support the channel. Give me lots of love, inspiration, and let me know down below what you think about this whole thing. All right? All right, let's get started. I'm going to do a voiceover for this because I was so confused. I didn't know anything. Like, I poured a pillow of the paint. I didn't even know if it was the proper consistency, but it looked like it poured. I had heavy paint from doing my acrylic painting. Anyway, I just was like, I'll just smear it all over the board. What can go wrong? And so I wanted to finger paint, and I did. And picked out whatever that was. I've already got paint on my arms because I was mixing all different colors, but I didn't even have a clue what color I was going to use. I decided to just start with black. So I went ahead and I made a little squiggly just to kind of get some paint on the board, to be honest. I didn't know what to do with it. So then I'm like, it looks weird by itself. We'll make some veins, right? I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm going to be pouring it. Nothing. I'm like, okay, we got to brighten it up. I'm from Wisconsin. Everybody likes green here. Green and gold, so those are good contrasting secondary colors. I figured, what the heck, we'll just kind of go, like, I didn't know if I should go on or beside. So I think kind of I did both. And I could see it was kind of melting together, mushing together. And I'm like, oh, I need to get some lighter color into this. But I also want to maintain like a natural feel to it. So I'm like, we'll put some brown in it. Like I said, it's a little tiny canvas. I wasn't sure if I should even be adding this many colors, but really we're only adding green. The rest are tones. I consider brown a tone. So then I was like, do I straw paint? You know, where you see it on the thing. I decided to swirl it. I'm like, let's just swirl it up. I don't know if I should be mixing it. I had no idea. Right now, to me, I felt like I was in kindergarten class with the kids, right? So I grabbed my color, which to me, with the squeeze bottle and the golden yellow, I felt like I was putting mustard on my board. Like I said, traditional painter here, never used squeeze bottles before. And so I was like, where do I put it? So I just put it random places. And again, just tried to, I didn't even know if it would show up, but I was like, I see him do it. We'll drag it around. I didn't really care because I just wanted to see how the paint was going to mix and what the concept was. And like I said, I didn't know if any of the little lines would be retained because the intent, I think, is to pour this off the board, right? I'm like, will any of this stay? So I continued to do this for quite a while, just pulling any little area out. So soothing. And I found myself lost in this pulling of this paint through different colors, and got very creative in it. Yeah, if you make a mistake, you just squiggle it out because you got a whole bunch of paint. I probably used way too much paint. But I will tell you, I could sit and just doodle like this all day. It felt so relaxing. And to be able to just freely divide one color, or drag, I should say, not divide, but drag like the yellow through the green and watch it change. And I just got lost in this, and it was like a release. I didn't even know if I wanted to pour the board when I was done, and I would have never thought that. I mean, from what it looked like I said, I felt like I had been kindergarten painting. So I just got a little wooden skewer. I've got hundreds of them. And began to doodle. And that's exactly what it felt like. I think anybody could do this art. And that is so freeing. And you can't really mess up. You really don't have to worry about anything. Now, like I said, I didn't know if this was even going to stay on the board, but I just kept enjoying it until I felt like I had done enough. And yeah, this was an incredibly relaxing, like I was in my zen. I literally could have done this for another hour, but I finally found myself at a place where I was like, okay, now what do we do next? Because I was also excited. I wanted to know what happens once all this is done, right? What do we do with it? I tried to make it look random as possible. I didn't really want it to be anything. I didn't want any restrictions. I wanted to feel that fluid movement. And to me, adding all the little squigglies definitely added movement. So here I am, trying to blow some of the stuff around, because you see it on TV, right? And I wasn't sure where to blow it, so I was like, I'll just move some of this around. But I started realizing it was really kind of taking some of the detail out, and it was very much blending it. So I was like, yeah, do I want to keep doing that method? So I see the air bubbles, and I seen him use a torch. Now, I didn't know exactly what I was doing with the torch, so I just kept, wherever I saw air bubble, I'd just go over it real quick. But I probably went over it way too much. I don't know. Now, I pick it up, right, and I'm like, okay, what do I do with this? I had so much paint, and I'm like, okay, I really just let it happen. I didn't even know, like, I know they lock in the corners by basically, it looked like they pinched them when the big wave of paint kind of come down there. I like that, I like it, but I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, I just decided to draw a couple more little squigglies because there was so much of the green, and I didn't feel like it was pouring off the board right, and I was losing all the details. So I'm like, well, how can I mess this up, right? So I started off by just kind of like being a little bit more aggressive with my pulls, and slowly lowering the degree of how my toothpick or my skewer was, and I started flattening it out and grabbing like amounts of paint and just doing squigglies and letting it blend and just playing in it. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I started finally seeing what I had heard about, these cells. Now, I had added that, I think it's called Flonase or something, to some of the colors. But I basically painted with my skewer and just forgot about the whole concept of pouring and pulling and all that, and just started creating these, I don't know, kind of like webbing is what it felt like sheer webbing. And as I pulled just the very top of the paint across another color, I started seeing this magic happen, and I was like, oh my golly. Yeah, you can see I'm starting to really get into it, but I didn't know where to go with it, so I was just pretty random with it. Like I said, I'm just trying to see what this whole concept was. I couldn't quite understand. I realize now, looking back after watching more of the pour videos, that there's different styles. And because of that, I wasn't understanding one style. I was trying to interpret everything they were doing. And of course it wasn't going to work, because sometimes I guess you need like a pillow of paint. And then sometimes you need the whole board covered. So I'm just going with the flow here. I poured some off because I'm like, oh my gosh, how could this ever dry? It's like so thick in paint. So you can see me, I'm popping bubbles there. Like I said, I'm doing this as a voiceover because I couldn't do both. I wouldn't, I'm like, don't even know what I'm doing here. But I thought I'd come back and kind of give you what was going on. Now, right now, I'm not in love with it, but I am in love with the idea because I'm thinking potential here. But I'm also thinking I wanted to spread this out a lot more because it feels so compact. But then look at this. This is what I'm getting. And the closer I looked and at the colors, I was so blown away. And I'm like, I don't know, like, look at that. Now, I also am an avid agate collector. I pick them. I live in Wisconsin, and I can go up to Superior and get them. And so a lot of this stone color like this, it just speaks to my heart. I'm like, oh my golly. So I decided to keep it exactly the way it was as my first adventure. And I'm very pleased. I showed you the wet, as they say on the show, was out there. I'm showing you the wet, and then I will come back and show you what it looks like when it's all dry. And I'll make sure and seal it and varnish it. But look at this. I mean, oh my gosh. It's almost like, that looked like a butterfly wing to me. I could get lost for days in this. It's almost 3D. It's definitely got my attention. Well, here is the dried still shot. Now here's the video. And it actually held up really, really well. I love all the cells and the colors, the intricate. The detail is just unbelievable. But each little piece, I mean, look at that. Like, what is this new art form that I have not been doing? I'm in love with this. And I can just see, like, I want to try primary colors. I think that'll be a lot of fun to do together. So, I appreciate your time with me, and I really hope that you'll come back and paint with me again.